how to write cold emails for outreach in SMMA, social media marketing agencies. Let's get into it. So I got asked by one of you guys how I actually, what the process that I go through for writing these cold email sequences and how I am actually able to improve on each sequence that I write. So last week I showed you guys how exactly I prospect, lead gen, and do the email sequencing for my personal ads agency. But today I'm going to show you the process and the mental process that I go through to actually write and craft these email sequences. So with the title being how to get 71% open rate, and to prove that I'm not just like talking crap, I'm going to throw up the stats for both version 1 of my email sequencing test right here and version 2. Now, as you can see, I believe I got like 73% open rate on the version 2 and only like 68 something. Now, the first subject line has been the same throughout. Actually, no. The first subject line has one word changed, but let me just tell you about how to actually craft a subject line that is like, clickable. So with subject lines, the way I like to go about it is actually a reversal of what most marketers do. So one of the biggest trends and tips that you've seen get given literally everywhere is, camel casing. Camel casing is so played out and so just like drilled into people's heads where it's gotten to the point where if someone sees camel casing, so what that means is like the first letter of every word is capitalized, you're just going to ignore it, especially in your inbox. Because if you open the marketing emails from everyone, what email is in all lowercase? And that's something I prefer to do. So I keep my emails in lowercase for the subject lines, except for the name of the company and the person. This is because, it's still a respect thing where it's like, when you personalize the person's name, you don't want to kind of like almost misspell it. And also some people don't recognize their names immediately if it's all spelled in lowercase. So I'm going to keep it uppercase for now. So for example, if my subject line was, hi, Peter, can I give you a call for a few minutes? Then everything except Peter is going to be lowercase. This is like almost my unorthodox way of standing out. I'm not going to give you guys the precise subject line that I use, but the subject line I use is effective and gets me around 73 open rate. Also, other words you want to avoid. You want to avoid words like free, cool, even though I just used that in the example, but words like free, cool, general numbers. So like 10. So for example, you wouldn't say, 10 ways to increase ROAS on your Facebook ads, because that's so generic, What a better one would be, 72 small things you can do to significantly increase ROAS. Something like that, where it's like odd numbers work especially well. So for example, in my case study email where I share the return on ad spend that my team has gotten in the past for clients, I always keep it very, very specific. So I never say just 18x return on ad spend. I always say 18.43x return on ad spend. Small things like that really do make a difference, especially in the open rates. So essentially the difference between my version 1 of my email sequencing and version 2 is that version 1 is just a cookie cutter template that I kind of just sent out everywhere. Whereas version 2, the reason why I'm able to get 10% response rate so far, even though I haven't even enrolled everyone through all the email sequences yet, is because I customize and give tremendous value. And it's a kind of like a mindset shift that you have to have. So I've broken down what it takes to write a really good outreach email into 5 steps. So number 1, volume is key. However, your mindset and your intention is equally important. So without hitting, let's say 100 email emails a week, you're never going to be able to hit the volume to actually, be able to know what the consistent results that you would get for that email template, which means, you wouldn't be able to analyze, compare, and reiterate and build on top of what you already have. So volume is definitely key. However, your intention must be also very, very on point. So for example, if your intention is literally just to sell them a service that you don't even believe in yourself, then your intention is going to be completely wrong. And, energy-wise, it's just going to come across from the way you type the emails and the way it's going to be read. So that's going to heavily, heavily, heavily affect your response rate, click-through rate, and also meeting rate. So make sure that your mindset is optimized to where you actively want to bring, the customer tremendous value. Number 2, in something like SMMA, social media marketing, it's a tremendously competitive industry. Literally every single e-commerce owner gets about 10 emails a day of people trying to sell them social media marketing. Why should you be any different? How can you stand out against from the crowd? The only way, in my opinion, and what I have found to be working for me so far, is by shifting your focus to bring the business owner tremendous value. Because what a lot of people do for social media marketing outreach is they just use a cookie cutter template, just like in version 1 of my email sequences, where there wasn't a lot of customization going around. So it didn't actually actively bring any value to the business owner. So that's why the open rate was so high, but the engagement and the response rate is so low. So right now, what I aim to do with every single email that I send out and every single email sequence that every single lead that I outreach to is I attempt to make the email to bring them tremendous value to the point where, it's going to actually make a positive. No matter how small the impact it would be on their business, it would be impactful to their business. So, or their mood. So for example, there was a, pet supplies company that I outreach to, and they sell predominantly dog beds and cat beds and luxury collars. Now, I didn't have too much knowledge on the niche, as you can imagine. I do have a dog, but I don't know anything about pet supplies. And none of my contractors have run ads for pet supplies, but I just know their website was absolutely beautiful. And, I knew that they were getting enough visitors daily to be, bringing in around 700K in revenue, where I was like, okay, this is a company worth outreaching to. Now, because I don't really know too much about the niche, what I did was I went for the approach of, just bringing joy to the business owner. And I actually got a response. So how I did it was I just used dog and cat puns in the email sequence to make sure that, the business owner that knew that I wrote the sequence tailored it to her. So for example, in the last email, I always say, last message here, insert name, I promise, I'll never hit you up again. I'm not one to pester you. So instead of saying, last message, I promise, I said, hey, Peter, I won't hound you anymore. The hound, dog, yeah. But there was dogs and cats puns scattered throughout the previous emails. So once they hit that email, they will completely be able to tell that I wrote it for them, Now, this might not bring them tremendous value, but it might make their day a little better. And now I can see in my CRM that they have clicked on the emails that I've sent 7 times, clicked on the link twice, but they haven't quite booked in the meeting yet, which is what the following up sequences are designed to do. So yeah, stuff like that will really, really help with the engagement rate and the reply rates of your emails. Number 3, bring real value and bring tremendous value too. And what I'm saying in terms of value is don't bring value on a superficial level, bring value on a real, genuine, person to person, I want to make an impact on your business level. Because, the difference between that, for example, is the superficial type would be something I saw something concerning about your digital marketing campaign, and I know that you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and, being the kind-hearted angel that I am, I'd hate to see another business owner lose out. And that's just so superficial, where it's just every single marketer out there knows that phrase. And also it just comes across so fake because, why should I care about another business's money like that? no one's that actively helpful. So instead, what I tend to do is, I looked at XYZ ad and I'm very specific about it. And then I go brackets, the one about da da da. So if it was like a clothing one, it will be, the one with the red hoodie in it. And I think it can be improved in XYZ. I have a quick question though. What kind of conversions are you getting from that? Stuff like that, where it's like very specific and very tailored. It will not only come across like, you've actively put in the effort and you are really trying to, help the business owner make a decision to positively impact their business. So stuff like that would bring real value as opposed to the superficial value. Number 4. Again, it's to set yourself apart because there's literally hundreds and thousands of marketers out there trying to reach them. It's crucially important that you customize the email for each individual lead that you send out and do outreach to. Please do that. If you don't do that, I promise you, the response rate is going to be trash, and some people are even going to get upset because, you started emailing them out of the blue and you send them like an email every other day, and it's just quite annoying, right? So that's why I always make sure each of my emails brings tremendous value to the business owner. So last week in my video, I said I was going to include the script of my version 1 of my email sequencing split test. I didn't do that, and it is definitely on purpose, and it's because I know for a fact that people are just going to copy and paste exactly what I wrote, rather than, taking inspiration and being guided by it. Because I know that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly what my accountability partner also did with the scripts that was given from the course that we both bought. So yeah, I'm not going to give you guys an exact script, but from the tips that I have given previously, you should know exactly how to write a very high converting, outreach email. And the key thing is, you need to split test because, so for example, I'm on version 2 and that's already seen a significant improvement. That's seen, I believe, like a, 80% improvement on reply rates and almost 120% improvement on click-through rates as well. And also I've been able to set 3 meetings from all of that all together now, just by following up with really custom emails and replies, but also cold calling them up as soon as I see them opening my email. So yeah, it's been really working for me, and I look forward to testing other sequences on, how I can bring different kinds of value to the business owner and really set myself apart from all of the digital marketers out there. Because I promise you, it is really, really high. Like, there's so much competition. Like, I've seen the inbox of one e-commerce owner, and literally it made me almost lose hope because, there's just so many people doing outreach, but also there are some common traits amongst all of them where, the emails might suck, or the copy might be bad spelling, or grammar, or sometimes they just come off damn right rude because, you're taught to say these phrases like, I have some concerns about your digital marketing campaign. And in my opinion, that's a horrible thing to say to someone just because, it almost feels like a personal attack. So yeah, definitely follow the tips I have given you in the previous parts of this video and try to implement it. Split test. So far I have enrolled 178 people into my sequences. So it's just like, I need to make sure that my own sequences are tested first, and I'm going to stop testing at around the 500 mark. So yeah, if you guys have followed me through to the end of this video, any questions you have on SMMA, please DM them on Instagram to me. I run a poll every single Friday asking you guys what you guys want to learn, and 2 of the videos this week are from suggestions on that poll. So yeah, definitely submit them there, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video, which is going to be about how to run a successful LinkedIn campaign. So yeah, and how to get clients through LinkedIn. I'll see you guys tomorrow.